Stop scrolling, because the next coin you see could be worth thousands or even millions of dollars. Welcome to Legacy Coins USA, where ordinary pocket change reveals extraordinary history, hidden rarities, breathtaking minting secrets, legendary auction records, and life-changing discoveries. Every coin has a story. Every date hides a mystery. Every mint mark could unlock a fortune. If you're passionate about rare American coins, silver treasures, and the most valuable discoveries ever made, you're in the right place. Subscribe now, because your next coin could change everything. Fire money. Let's get started. Step 1. Have you ever imagined that a single silver dime carrying the date 1925 could spark endless debates among collectors, historians, and coin enthusiasts around the world? At first glance, it appears to be an ordinary Mercury dime with the familiar inscriptions Liberty, In God We Trust, United States of America, EPLUBUSUNUM, and one dime, yet the mysterious 1925 date raises one of the most fascinating questions in American numismatic history. Why does this coin exist in the hands of some collectors when official United States Mint records tell a completely different story? Today, we are uncovering the mystery behind one of the most talked about Mercury dime legends, separating documented history from myths, while exploring how this mysterious coin continues to capture the imagination of collectors across the globe. Long before collectors began discussing the mysterious 1925 piece, the Mercury dime had already established itself as one of America's most beautiful silver coins. Introduced in 1916, the coin replaced the barber dime during a period when the United States sought more artistic and meaningful coinage. The U.S. Mint commissioned renowned sculptor Adolph A. Weinman, whose vision transformed a simple 10-cent coin into a masterpiece of American symbolism. The portrait, often mistaken for the Roman god Mercury, actually represents Lady Liberty wearing a winged cap, symbolizing freedom of thought and intellectual liberty. This elegant design quickly became one of the most admired creations in U.S. coin history, earning the nickname Mercury dime, despite never officially portraying the Roman messenger god. As the Mercury dime entered circulation, it became more than just currency. Every coin carried a message about the ideals of the United States during the early 20th century. The word liberty celebrated the nation's democratic principles, while In God We Trust reflected a deeply rooted national motto. On the reverse, the bundle of rods known as the fasces represented unity and strength, while the olive branch symbolized peace. Together, these powerful symbols reminded Americans that true national strength comes from unity balanced with peace rather than conflict. Because of this meaningful design, the Mercury dime became not only a practical coin, but also a miniature work of art that represented the values of an entire nation. Now the mystery begins. When researchers examine official United States Mint production records, they discover an unexpected fact that surprises many viewers. The Mercury dime series officially ran from 1916 through 1945, but no official Mercury dime dated 1925 was issued by the U.S. Mint. This surprising gap has fueled years of speculation, online discussions, replica productions, and misunderstandings. Some pieces bearing the 1925 date are believed to be fantasy issues, replicas, novelty creations, or altered coins rather than official U.S. Mint products. That mystery is exactly why the so-called 1925 Mercury dime continues to fascinate collectors today, not because it is recognized as an official rare issue, but because it represents one of the most intriguing stories surrounding America's famous silver dime. Imagine holding a small silver dime that seems ordinary to most people, yet the moment the mysterious 1925 date catches your eye, curiosity takes over. Numismatic experts often explain that mystery coins like this attract enormous attention because they challenge what collectors believe they know. Throughout the decades, unusual date combinations, replicas, fantasy strikes, and altered coins have appeared in the marketplace, sometimes confusing beginners and even experienced collectors. While an authentic United States Mint Mercury dime dated 1925 has never been officially documented, pieces carrying this date have become fascinating conversation starters. Their existence reminds collectors that every coin should be carefully researched before assumptions are made, because the difference between a historical treasure and a modern fantasy issue often lies in the smallest details. Few people realize how much craftsmanship went into producing every genuine Mercury dime. During the early 20th century, master dies were engraved with extraordinary precision before being transferred into working dies used to strike thousands of silver coins. Each genuine Mercury dime contained 90% silver and 10% copper, weighed approximately 2.5 grams, measured 17.9 millimeters in diameter, and featured a reeded edge designed to discourage clipping of precious metal. These technical specifications remained remarkably consistent throughout the series and helped establish the Mercury dime as one of the finest silver circulation coins in American history. Because of its artistic beauty and precious metal content, millions of people saved these coins instead of spending them, allowing many examples to survive for future generations of collectors. Now consider another fascinating chapter in this story. Whenever an unusual coin appears online claiming to be worth thousands or even millions of dollars, excitement spreads rapidly across social media. Experienced numismatists, however, follow a completely different approach. They begin by studying the date, mint mark, lettering, portrait details, reverse design, edge, weight, diameter, and metal composition before making any judgment. In the case of a 1925 Mercury dime, specialists compare every feature with official U.S. Mint records and known genuine examples from surrounding years. The careful process protects collectors from misinformation while helping them distinguish authentic historical coins from replicas, fantasy pieces, commemorative tokens, or altered examples that were never official mint products. History has repeatedly shown that mystery often increases public fascination more than certainty ever could. Even though the 1925 Mercury dime is not recognized as an official United States Mint issue, its story continues to inspire discussion because it encourages collectors to investigate the remarkable legacy of the Mercury dime series itself. Every genuine Mercury dime represents an era of American craftsmanship, economic change, artistic achievement, and national identity. The mysterious 1925 date serves as a reminder that the world of coin collecting is filled not only with valuable silver and famous rarities, but also with intriguing legends that inspire people to learn, question, research, and appreciate history with a sharper and more informed perspective. As the decades passed, the Mercury dime transformed from an everyday 10-cent coin into one of the most admired collectibles in American numismatics. Collectors from every generation began assembling complete date and mint collections, searching through old bank rolls, estate collections, and forgotten family coin jars in hopes of discovering an overlooked treasure. The coin's timeless beauty, historic silver composition, and elegant design ensured that its popularity never faded. Although the mysterious 1925 dated piece remains outside official U.S. Mint history, it has inspired thousands of collectors to explore the authentic Mercury dime series in greater detail, making it one of the most discussed mysteries among modern coin enthusiasts. Behind every valuable Mercury dime lies a careful process of authentication. Professional grading services examine each coin under powerful magnification, evaluating its strike quality, original mint luster, surface preservation, wear patterns, and authenticity before assigning an official grade. A difference of only one grade level can dramatically increase a coin's market value, especially for rare dates preserved in mint state condition. Genuine Mercury dimes displaying brilliant original surfaces, sharp details, and full horizontal bands across the fasces on the reverse often command significant premiums because these characteristics demonstrate an exceptional strike. This meticulous grading process protects collectors while preserving the integrity of the numismatic marketplace. Perhaps the greatest lesson hidden within the story of the mysterious 1925 Mercury dime is the importance of knowledge over excitement. The internet is filled with dramatic claims that every unusual coin is worth millions of dollars, Yet experienced collectors know that true value depends upon documented rarity, official mint records, historical significance, authenticity, condition, and collector demand. A fantasy piece may be fascinating because of its unusual appearance or mysterious origin, but its value is determined by the market for replicas and novelty issues rather than official U.S. coin catalogs. Understanding this distinction allows collectors to appreciate both historical facts and intriguing mysteries without confusing one for the other. Standing at the crossroads of history and legend, the so-called 1925 Mercury dime continues to remind collectors why coin collecting is far more than a search for wealth. Every coin tells a story, whether it is an officially issued masterpiece struck by the United States Mint or a later fantasy creation that sparks worldwide curiosity. The enduring legacy of the Mercury dime lies not only in its silver content or artistic beauty, but also in its ability to inspire research, preserve American history, and encourage new generations to look beyond the surface of every coin. In the world of numismatics, the greatest discoveries often begin with a simple question, and sometimes the most unforgettable stories emerge from coins that challenge everything we think we know. From this point onward, the story enters the world of remarkable discoveries that have made the Mercury dime series legendary among collectors. Certain genuine dates, such as the famous 1916D, 1921, and 1921D Mercury dimes, have achieved legendary status because of their limited mintages and exceptional rarity. Well-preserved examples have sold for thousands, and in extraordinary mint state condition, even tens of thousands of dollars at major auctions. These remarkable sales have inspired generations of collectors to inspect every old silver dime they encounter, hoping that an ordinary-looking coin might secretly belong to one of the series' most desirable issues. The mysterious 1925 piece often enters these conversations, not as an official rarity, but as a fascinating reminder that unusual dates can spark enormous curiosity throughout the collecting community. Surprisingly, the greatest treasures are not always discovered inside museums or auction houses. Across America, valuable Mercury dimes have surfaced in forgotten piggy banks, inherited collections, abandoned safety deposit boxes, and family heirlooms passed from one generation to another. Many people unknowingly preserved these silver coins simply because they admired their beautiful design, never realizing that decades later collectors would eagerly search for them. Stories of unexpected discoveries continue to fuel the excitement surrounding coin collecting, encouraging people to examine old collections carefully before spending or discarding them. Every genuine Mercury dime carries a connection to the people who once used it during one of the most transformative periods in American history. As collectors became more experienced, counterfeit detection evolved into a science of its own. Experts carefully measure a coin's weight, diameter, thickness, magnetic response, edge reads, die characteristics, and metal composition using specialized equipment. Even the smallest inconsistency in lettering, portrait details, or reverse design can reveal that a piece is a replica or fantasy issue rather than an authentic United States Mint product. This careful examination is especially important whenever an unusual date appears, because excitement alone cannot replace historical evidence. Knowledge, patience, and verification remain the most valuable tools any serious collector can possess. Finally, the legacy of the Mercury dime extends far beyond silver or monetary value. It represents an era when American coinage combined exceptional artistry with meaningful national symbolism, creating a design that continues to inspire admiration more than a century after its introduction. Whether examining a genuine historic Mercury dime or investigating the mystery surrounding a 1925 dated fantasy piece, every collector participates in a journey through history, craftsmanship, and discovery. The greatest reward is not merely finding a valuable coin, it is uncovering the truth behind its story. And that is why the Mercury dime remains one of the most celebrated and captivating coins ever associated with the history of the United States. Step 2. What if I told you that a single silver dime minted in 1940 could unlock a remarkable story of American history, artistic brilliance, economic resilience, and hidden collector value? At first glance, the 1940 Mercury dime appears to be an ordinary 10-cent coin, proudly displaying the words Liberty, In God We Trust, United States of America, EPLUOBUSUNUM, and one dime. Yet behind its small size lies a legacy that has fascinated collectors for generations. Struck from 90% silver and 10% copper, this iconic coin was produced during one of the most dramatic periods in world history, just as the Second World War was reshaping nations across the globe. Although millions entered circulation, only a tiny percentage have survived in exceptional condition, making high-grade examples highly sought after by collectors today. Designed by the legendary sculptor Adolf A. Weinman, the famous portrait is often mistaken for the Roman god Mercury, but it actually represents Lady Liberty wearing a winged cap, symbolizing freedom of thought and the limitless power of the human mind. Turn the coin over, and you'll discover the majestic fasces wrapped with an olive branch, representing America's enduring belief that true national strength must always be balanced with peace. More than 80 years after leaving the United States Mint, the 1940 Mercury dime continues to captivate historians, investors, and numismatists alike. Some examples have sold for impressive prices because of outstanding preservation, rare mint characteristics, or exceptional strike quality, proving that even a humble 10-cent coin can become an extraordinary historical treasure. Today, we begin an unforgettable journey into the complete history of the 1940 Mercury dime, uncovering the stories, secrets, craftsmanship, and collector fascination that have transformed this beautiful silver coin into one of the most admired classics in American numismatic history. Without warning, the year 1940 marked the beginning of a new chapter not only for the Mercury dime, but also for the United States itself. America was emerging from the hardships of the Great Depression, while the flames of World War II were already spreading across Europe. Although the United States had not yet officially entered the war, factories were increasing production, industries were expanding, and the demand for reliable American coinage remained stronger than ever. It was during this historic period that millions of 1940 Mercury dimes rolled off the presses at the Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco mints, quietly entering the pockets of workers, merchants, soldiers, and families across the nation. Every coin represented purchasing power during a time when 10 cents could buy everyday necessities, making this small silver piece an essential part of daily American life. Unknown to the people who spent these coins, many would eventually survive for more than 8 decades, becoming treasured collectibles admired around the world. Today, collectors study the 1940 Mercury dime not only for its silver content and elegant appearance, but also because it serves as a living witness to one of the most significant eras in modern history. Holding an authentic 1940 Mercury dime is like holding a genuine piece of America's past, a coin that silently traveled through a nation preparing for extraordinary changes while preserving the craftsmanship and artistic excellence that continue to inspire generations of numismatists. Few people realize that the breathtaking beauty of the 1940 Mercury dime was no accident. It was the result of extraordinary artistic vision. More than 2 decades earlier, the United States Mint selected renowned sculptor Adolf A. Weinman to create a new 10-cent coin that would inspire pride and reflect the ideals of a growing nation. Instead of portraying a political leader, Weinman designed an elegant image of Lady Liberty wearing a winged Phrygian cap, a symbol representing freedom of thought, progress, and the limitless power of the human spirit. Because the wings resembled the helmet of the Roman messenger god Mercury, the public quickly gave the coin its famous nickname, the Mercury dime, even though Mercury himself was never depicted on the coin. On the reverse, Weinman placed the ancient Roman fasces, symbolizing unity, justice, and national strength, while an olive branch wrapped beside it represented peace and hope. This remarkable combination of strength and peace perfectly reflected the values America wished to uphold during an uncertain period in world history. By 1940, the Mercury dime had already become one of the most admired coins ever produced by the United States Mint, praised for its graceful design, detailed craftsmanship, and timeless symbolism. Even today, collectors often consider it one of the finest artistic achievements in American coinage, proving that a small silver dime can preserve an enduring message of liberty, courage, and national unity for generations to come. Now let's step inside the United States Mint in 1940, where precision, craftsmanship, and discipline transformed raw metal into one of America's most iconic silver coins. Every genuine 1940 Mercury dime began as a carefully prepared alloy of 90% silver and 10% copper, chosen to provide both beauty and durability. Massive rolling mills reduced the metal into long strips of exact thickness before high-speed blanking presses punched out thousands of perfectly round planchets every hour. These blanks were then heated, cleaned, polished, and passed through upsetting mills that raised their rims, preparing them for the final strike. Inside powerful coining presses, engraved dies impressed the intricate designs of Adolph A. Weinman onto each blank with tremendous force, creating the sharp portrait of liberty on the obverse and the detailed fasces with olive branch on the reverse. During 1940, Mercury dimes were struck at Philadelphia, no mint mark, Denver marked with a D, and San Francisco marked with an S, with each mint contributing to the nation's growing demand for circulating coinage. Although millions were produced, not every coin emerged with the same quality. Slight differences in die wear, striking pressure, and alignment created variations that collectors still study today. Coins displaying exceptionally sharp details, especially the fully defined horizontal bands across the fasces, known as full bands, are considered premium examples and often command significantly higher prices. This extraordinary manufacturing process ensured that every authentic 1940 Mercury dime carried not only silver value, but also the exceptional craftsmanship that continues to make it one of the most admired coins in American numismatic history. Beyond its elegant appearance, the 1940 Mercury dime carries a remarkable story of survival through one of the most turbulent periods of the 20th century. As Europe descended deeper into World War II, the United States was strengthening its economy, expanding industry, and preparing for uncertainties that lay ahead. During this time, millions of Americans relied on small silver coins like the Mercury dime for everyday transactions. A single dime could purchase basic necessities, pay for transportation, or contribute to a family's daily expenses. Countless 1940 dimes passed through the hands of factory workers, shopkeepers, students, farmers, and future servicemen who had no idea these ordinary coins would one day become prized collectibles. Because they circulated so heavily, most examples gradually lost their original mint luster and developed smooth surfaces from years of use. Only a small number escaped circulation by being stored in banks, collections, or family keepsakes, preserving their brilliant silver shine and razor-sharp details. Today, these well-preserved examples are especially desirable among collectors, as they provide a rare glimpse of how the coin looked when it first emerged from the United States Mint in 1940. More than 80 years later, every authentic 1940 Mercury dime serves as a miniature time capsule, connecting modern collectors to an era of determination, craftsmanship, and resilience, reminding us that even the smallest silver coin can preserve an extraordinary chapter of American history. Hidden beneath the surface of every authentic 1940 Mercury dime is a world of fascinating varieties that serious collectors spend years studying. At first glance, two coins dated 1940 may appear identical, yet a closer inspection can reveal important differences that dramatically influence desirability and value. The coin was struck at 3 United States Mint facilities: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. Coins from Philadelphia carry no mint mark, while Denver examples display a small D, and San Francisco pieces bear an S on the reverse near the bottom left of the fasces. Although all 3 mints produced millions of dimes, each facility used different dies, striking pressures, and production methods, creating subtle variations that experienced numismatists can recognize immediately. Among the most coveted are coins displaying the famous full bands FB designation, where the horizontal bands around the fasces remain completely separated by crisp, uninterrupted lines. Achieving this level of detail required an exceptionally fresh die and a powerful strike, making such coins significantly scarcer than ordinary circulation pieces. As a result, certified 1940 full bands Mercury dimes in high mint state grades have earned impressive auction results, with the finest examples selling for thousands of dollars. This pursuit of perfection has transformed the 1940 Mercury dime from a simple silver coin into a masterpiece of precision, where even the smallest design details can mean the difference between an ordinary collectible and a highly prized numismatic treasure admired by collectors around the world. Step: what if one of the most historically significant silver dimes in American history was quietly minted during the darkest days of World War II? The 1943 S Mercury dime, proudly bearing the inscriptions Liberty, In God We Trust, United States of America, EPLUBUSUNUM, and one dime, is far more than a simple 10-cent coin. It is a remarkable survivor from a year when the world was engulfed in conflict, and the United States had fully committed its industries, factories, and citizens to the war effort. Struck at the legendary San Francisco Mint, identified by the small S mint mark on the reverse, this beautiful coin was produced from 90% silver and 10% copper, carrying both precious metal value and extraordinary historical importance. Designed by the renowned sculptor Adolf A. Weinman, the obverse features Lady Liberty wearing a winged cap, symbolizing freedom of thought and the enduring spirit of democracy, while the reverse displays the ancient fasces wrapped with an olive branch, representing strength through unity balanced by a sincere desire for peace. Although millions of 1943 S Mercury dimes entered circulation during wartime America, only a limited number have survived in exceptional mint state condition, making the finest examples highly desirable among collectors today. Some certified full bands, FB specimens, struck with outstanding detail, have achieved impressive prices at major auctions because of their rarity, eye appeal, and superior preservation. Yet the true value of this coin extends beyond silver or collector demand. It serves as a genuine piece of American history, connecting modern generations to the courage, sacrifice, craftsmanship, and resilience of the people who lived through one of the most defining years of the 20th century. Today, we begin an unforgettable journey into the complete story of the 1943 S Mercury dime, uncovering the history, artistry, rarity, and enduring legacy that have transformed this small silver coin into one of the most admired treasures in American numismatics. Paragraph 3, hidden within the elegant design of the 1943 S Mercury dime, is a masterpiece of American sculpture that continues to impress historians and collectors more than 80 years after it was created. The coin's designer, Adolf A. Weinman, was determined to produce a design that represented the ideals of freedom rather than simply portraying a famous individual. On the obverse, Lady Liberty wears a winged Phrygian cap, symbolizing freedom of thought, intelligence, and the limitless potential of a democratic nation. Because the wings resemble the helmet traditionally associated with the Roman messenger god Mercury, generations of Americans nicknamed the coin the Mercury dime, even though the design officially depicts Liberty herself. Turning the coin over reveals another powerful message through the image of the fasces, an ancient bundle of rods wrapped around an axe, representing unity, justice, authority, and the strength that comes when people stand together. Beside it rests a graceful olive branch, reminding the world that true strength must always be guided by peace rather than conflict. During 1943, while war was spreading across continents, this symbolic combination carried even greater meaning for the American people. Every 1943 S Mercury dime became more than circulating money. It became a miniature work of art, expressing the nation's determination to defend liberty while continuing to hope for a peaceful future. Today, collectors admire this remarkable design not only for its breathtaking beauty, but also for the timeless ideals it preserves, making the 1943 Mercury dime one of the most meaningful and artistically celebrated silver coins ever struck by the United States Mint. Without the thunder of battlefield explosions, another war was being fought inside America's factories, railroads, shipyards, and mints, where every machine worked tirelessly to support a nation fully committed to victory. It was during this extraordinary period, in 1943, that the San Francisco Mint struck millions of Mercury dimes to meet the country's growing demand for circulating coinage. Every 1943 Mercury dime represented far more than 10 cents. It became part of the economic engine that kept daily life moving while millions of Americans served overseas. These silver dimes passed through the hands of factory workers building aircraft, shipbuilders constructing naval fleets, farmers producing food for troops, merchants supplying communities, and families making sacrifices on the home front. Unlike commemorative medals created for display, the 1943 Mercury dime earned its place through constant circulation, witnessing one of the most dramatic chapters in modern history. Although wartime shortages affected many industries, the Mercury dime retained its traditional 90% silver and 10% copper composition, preserving the quality and elegance that collectors continue to admire today. Most of these coins experienced years of heavy use, gradually losing their original brilliance as they traveled across the nation in everyday commerce. Only a relatively small number escaped circulation and remained preserved in remarkable condition, still displaying their brilliant mint luster and sharply defined details. Today, every authentic 1943 Mercury dime stands as a silent witness to America's wartime determination, carrying within its silver surface the story of courage, industry, resilience, and hope that defined an entire generation. Hidden within the elegant design of the 1943 Mercury dime is a masterpiece of American sculpture that continues to impress historians and collectors more than 80 years after it was created. The coin's designer, Adolf A. Weinman, was determined to produce a design that represented the ideals of freedom rather than simply portraying a famous individual. On the obverse, Lady Liberty wears a winged Phrygian cap, symbolizing freedom of thought, intelligence, and the limitless potential of a democratic nation. Because the wings resemble the helmet traditionally associated with the Roman messenger god Mercury, generations of Americans nicknamed the coin the Mercury dime, even though the design officially depicts Liberty herself. Turning the coin over reveals another powerful message through the image of the fasces, an ancient bundle of rods wrapped around an axe, representing unity, justice, authority, and the strength that comes when people stand together. Beside it rests a graceful olive branch, reminding the world that true strength must always be guided by peace rather than conflict. During 1943, while war was spreading across continents, this symbolic combination carried even greater meaning for the American people. Every 1943 Mercury dime became more than circulating money. It became a miniature work of art, expressing the nation's determination to defend liberty while continuing to hope for a peaceful future. Today, collectors admire this remarkable design not only for its breathtaking beauty, but also for the timeless ideals it preserves, making the 1943 Mercury dime one of the most meaningful and artistically celebrated silver coins ever struck by the United States Mint. Now picture the powerful presses of the San Francisco Mint operating day and night throughout 1943, transforming carefully prepared silver blanks into thousands of Mercury dimes every hour. Before a single coin could be struck, the metal was precisely refined into an alloy containing 90% silver and 10% copper, giving the dime both its brilliant appearance and the durability required for everyday circulation. Long strips of metal were rolled to an exact thickness before high-speed blanking machines punched out perfectly round planchets. These blanks were then heated, cleaned, polished, and passed through upsetting mills that raised their rims, preparing them for the final strike. Inside massive coining presses, hardened steel dies engraved with Adolf A. Weinman's celebrated design impressed every tiny detail onto the planchets with tremendous force. Each authentic 1943 Mercury dime weighed approximately 2.5 grams, measured 17.9 millimeters in diameter, and featured a finely reeded edge designed to protect the precious silver content from clipping. Although millions of coins were produced, no two emerged exactly alike. Fresh dies created exceptionally sharp details, while worn dies gradually softened Liberty's hair, the lettering, and the reverse fasces. The most coveted examples are those displaying the famous full bands, FB designation, where the horizontal bands across the fasces remain fully separated by crisp, uninterrupted lines, a sign of an outstanding strike and superior mint quality. Today, these beautifully preserved 1943 full bands Mercury dimes are among the most desirable pieces in the entire series, admired not only for their rarity, but also for the extraordinary craftsmanship that reflects the precision and excellence of the United States Mint during one of the most important years in American history. Beyond its remarkable craftsmanship, the 1943 Mercury dime carries the unmistakable imprint of a nation at war. By 1943, the United States had fully mobilized its economy to support Allied forces, with factories producing aircraft, tanks, ships, ammunition, and essential military equipment around the clock. Amid this massive industrial effort, the San Francisco Mint continued striking Mercury dimes to ensure that everyday commerce never stopped. These silver coins circulated through grocery stores, railroad stations, post offices, neighborhood markets, and military communities, becoming part of the daily lives of millions of Americans. A single 1943 Mercury dime may have purchased a newspaper carrying wartime headlines, helped pay for a train ticket, or passed through the hands of workers building Liberty ships along the Pacific coast. Every scratch, worn edge, and faded detail found on surviving circulated examples tells the silent story of decades spent serving ordinary people during one of history's most extraordinary periods. Yet only a small number escaped heavy circulation, preserving their original mint luster and razor-sharp details. Today, these exceptional survivors are treasured by collectors because they offer a rare glimpse into the quality of the coin as it first left the San Francisco Mint in 1943. More than 80 years later, an authentic 1943 Mercury dime is not merely a piece of silver. It is a miniature historical artifact that connects modern collectors with the courage, sacrifice, determination, and resilience of the generation that helped shape the course of world history, ensuring that the legacy of this remarkable coin continues to shine as brightly as the silver from which it was struck. Few collectors realize that the true rarity of the 1943 Mercury dime is determined not simply by its date, but by its condition, strike quality, and preservation over the decades. While the San Francisco Mint produced more than 191 million Mercury dimes in 1943, the overwhelming majority entered heavy circulation almost immediately, where years of everyday use gradually wore away the delicate details of Liberty's portrait and the intricate design of the fasces. As a result, finding an original example with blazing mint luster, untouched surfaces, and razor-sharp details has become increasingly difficult. Among the most celebrated pieces are those certified with the prestigious full bands, FB designation, awarded only to coins displaying complete and uninterrupted horizontal bands across the fasces on the reverse. These exceptional examples were struck from fresh dies under ideal minting conditions and represent only a small fraction of the total production. Professional grading services carefully evaluate every surviving coin, assigning grades from heavily circulated specimens to flawless mint state examples, where even the slightest mark can influence market value. In today's numismatic market, ordinary circulated 1943 Mercury dimes remain popular because of their historical significance and silver content, while superb mint state full band specimens can command prices reaching into the thousands of dollars at major auctions. This remarkable difference in value demonstrates an important lesson in coin collecting. Rarity is not always created by low mintage alone. Sometimes it is the extraordinary survival of a perfectly preserved coin through more than 80 years of history that transforms a simple 10-cent piece into one of the most admired and sought-after treasures in American numismatics. And so, the remarkable journey of the 1943 Mercury dime comes to an unforgettable close, proving that history is not always preserved in grand monuments or priceless works of art. Sometimes it survives inside a small silver coin that quietly passed through countless hands during one of the most important years in American history. From the skilled craftsmanship of the San Francisco Mint to the artistic genius of Adolph A. Weinman, from the powerful symbols of liberty, unity, and peace engraved into its design to its role during the challenging years of World War II, every authentic 1943 Mercury dime represents far more than its face value of 10 cents. It stands as a lasting tribute to the determination, resilience, and spirit of an entire generation. While millions were produced, time has transformed beautifully preserved examples, especially those with the coveted full bands designation, into prized treasures sought by collectors across the globe. Yet the coin's greatest value cannot be measured only in silver or auction prices. Its true worth lies in the extraordinary story it carries, connecting the modern world with a defining chapter of American history. If you ever discover a 1943 Mercury dime, don't judge it by its size alone. Examine it carefully, preserve it wisely, and appreciate the legacy it represents, because within that tiny piece of silver may rest more than 80 years of history, artistry, and human perseverance. Thank you for joining this journey through the incredible story of the 1943 Mercury dime. If you enjoyed uncovering the hidden history behind this iconic American coin, be sure to like this video, share it with fellow collectors, subscribe for more rare coin documentaries, and remember, your next extraordinary discovery could be waiting in your own pocket, an old family collection, or a forgotten box of coins, ready to reveal another fascinating chapter of history.